sandy beaches. And today I'm here to talk about PBIS. What does it stand for? Who is it for? Well, I'm talking to you this time. I'm talking to you, classroom teachers, special education teachers, gym teacher, art teachers, music teacher, school psych, social worker, building aides, ESL, reading intervention, math intervention, the special ed aides, the custodians, the ESL aides, the cooks, the bus drivers. Did I forget anyone? Can I get a woo-woo? I'm talking to all of you grown-up types who work with kids. PBIS is for all of us. Okay, so what does it stand for? It stands for Positive Behavior Intervention and Support. That's a fancy way of saying that it's a name for how we work with kids and their behavior. Now, many of you might be thinking, I can't handle one more thing on my plate. I can't handle learning something new. Well, good news. For many of you, this is just a name for what you do already. You know who I'm talking about. So, this is just putting a name to the way that we handle behavior in our schools. Basically, it starts with teaching kids what we expect. You know, in the hallway with the voice levels, and in the bathroom with the go flush, wash, leave, and in the assembly with the respectful audience. And I know what you're thinking. Well, they already know all that stuff. I mean, that's just, common sense. Well, I think we both know that common sense is not necessarily a given. They may not know this stuff. Many of them do, but maybe they don't. We have to teach it. You know, like we teach the letters and the numbers. When they come to school, we don't say, well, you already know your letters. We teach it because we assume that they don't. The same is true for behavior. We can't assume that they just know. Because you know what happens when you assume. Anyway, so it starts with teaching the behaviors that we expect. And then it starts with reinforcing the behaviors that we see that we like. You know, the things that we like. Now, hold on a second, because at first I was thinking, wait a minute. We're supposed to reward them for the things that we expect. No, you just expect it. Well, yes and no, except it's kind of like this. The other day, I was having a cookout with my family. Shelly, Rocky, Myrtle, Daytona, Sunny, Stormy. And we were all getting together, and I made these fantastic burgers on the grill. I knew they were good. I really did. Because I made them the way that makes them, Anyway, I gave them a burger, and I was hoping that they would tell me how delicious it was. I was hoping that they would acknowledge the burgers I made. I already knew they were good, but I wanted that feedback. You know, kids are the same way. They may know that they're doing the right thing, but they still want the feedback. It's not rewarding me when Daytona says this is the best burger she's ever had, but boy, did that feel good. Anyway, so we will teach our expected behaviors. We will acknowledge and recognize when the kids show expected behaviors. And that's just basic tier 1. Picture, if you will, a triangle. with the point at the top. See, most of our kids are at the bottom of the triangle, the big fat part down at the bottom where they just do what they're supposed to do. Thank goodness most of the kids are down there. That's tier 1, where we teach them the expected behavior, they follow it, and then we acknowledge and reward and recognize and all that stuff. That's most of the kids. Some of the kids are not going to fall at the bottom, you know that. And that's tier 2 and tier 3. Tier 2 is like Fun Friday, you know, where you reteach the behavior as a reminder, or like the kids that you keep in for recess a few minutes to practice walking in the hall, or things like that. That's tier 2. And then there's the tier 3, but I'll get to that in a minute. Anyway, PBIS is all of those tiers. It's not just for the kids that, you know, get sent to the office. So, at the school-wide level, we work on teaching and managing behavior. How do we know if we're doing it right? Well, one of the things we can use is an SAS, self-assessment survey. You might end up getting one. It's where we ask everybody in the school. We care about your input, about, you know, how are we doing? Do the kids know what's expected of them? Are we recognizing, you know, the expected behaviors? Do we have a system in place to find out if there are behaviors that need to be worked on? Where are the holes in our system? It's kind of like in your PLC time when you take a look at the data, you know, from the scores of the running records and the map and the whatnot, and you look at the data and you see what kids are missing, what skills, and that's when the interventions jump in, and the interventionists start with the techniques and the strategies. You know, we do it for reading, we do it for math. Why wouldn't we do it for behavior? Because picture a school where we have data that we look at, so we know where the problem areas are. We know what population has things to work on. We know what they need to work on, and then it goes to the PBIS leadership team, so we get data on how the school in student behavior is going, and then when we get to this point, imagine we find behaviors of concern, locations of concern, things like that, and we start team-initiated problem solving so that you're not in your classroom by yourself dealing with, you know, the same behaviors over and over again. There's a team that comes in and addresses the problem. This is what we're shooting for. That we take a look at behavior the same way we take a look at academics. Data-driven, problem solving. And we set goals that are smart. You know about this from your SLOs. Goals that are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, timely. Except it's for behavior. Imagine if the behaviors are managed, even eliminated. What kind of academic achievements would we be capable of? This is what PBIS is all about. We're all still learning, but this is exciting. I can't wait to take the journey with you. This is Sandy Beaches. I'll see you soon.